So the machlekes. Yes, thank you. We had a machlekes in the Mishnah when we say Atachinan Tano, right? Yeah, Atachinan Tano after Shabbos. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So Rabbi Lezer says that you say it in Maidim. You say it in Maidim, Bidah. And that was an argument between Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says you say it as its own bracha. The Tanakama was the third opinion. It says that you say it in Chayin and Chayin, the way we do. Umar says like this: Rabbi Zeira Havirachab Chamra. Rabbi Zeira was riding on a donkey. Rabbi Kashakal Va'azil was going along with him. Rabbi Barav and Basrei was going along with him afterwards. Maybe means he wasn't on the donkey. He was on the donkey. He was walking maybe. Amalei, he said to him, I don't think we know exactly who said to who. He said to him, could be the way over here. Is it accurate that you said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Halachik Rabbi Lezer b'Yamtiv shechaliyas achar Shabbos? That we're going to pass him like Rabbi Lezer on Motzei Shabbos. That's also Yamtiv, because we say Havdalah on Motzei Shabbos. Well, there's a little bit of an issue because normally we say Havdalah Atachinan Tano is in Chen and Adas. On a regular Motzei Shabbos we can say Chen and Adas, but if it's Yamtiv there is no Chen and Atachinan. So what are we going to do? It's not Atachinan because on Shabbos we skip those blessings. We don't say that on Yamtiv rather. I should say we don't say those blessings. So we'll go like Rabbi Lezer. He says that you say it in Maidim. So Amalei in says yes. I said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, and Allah is like Rabbi Lezer. Now the Gemara discusses this. Halacha mechlal depligi. When you say that the halacha is like him, it must mean that there's machlekes. V'lai pligi. And is it not a machlekes? V'ha pligi Rabbanan. But the Rabbanan argue on that. There is a machlekes. Why are you surprised that there's a machlekes? It's obvious that there's a machlekes. The Gemara says no. It could be that they argue. What do you have there? B'cheres? Old classic joke. Two chavrusas for studying together. 6 months later, they realized one had a b'cheres and one had a brachos. So okay. Maybe they were arguing on every day of the year, which means every Motzei Shabbos of the year. But did they argue then? We don't say Atachinan on Yom Tov. The Gemara says Rabbi Akiva. Fine, we don't say Atachinan. But Rabbi Akiva argues. And Rabbi Akiva says that you say it as a bracha b'fnei atzma. You say it gets its own blessing. The Gemara says that calls Shanakulam Yavdina Rabbi Akiva. The hashta neku v'ne'avid kavasei. We never pass on like Rabbi Akiva. So why do you have to say the halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer? No one argues. So, well, we argue the whole year. So, maybe they only argue if it's not Yom Tov. So, well, what about we'll go like Rabbi Akiva? You see, what that means is because the Rabbanan argue the whole year because the whole year we say Atachinan, and you have to fit it into Atachinan. But if it's Yom Tov and there is no Atachinan, so we can say it as a blessing on its own, but we can't fit it in Atachinan because it doesn't exist. So the Gemara says, well, we never pass on like Rabbi Akiva to say that it's on its own. The Gemara explains, but why don't we never pass on like Rabbi Akiva? He says that you say a separate bracha for Havdalah in Shmoneh Esrei, which would end up Baruch Atah Hashem Malkim Kodesh probably. That's the reason for that is because this Tamni Srei Tikkun, Tishrei Leit Tikkun, because we instituted 18 blessings, not 19. So we don't pass on like Rabbi Akiva. It's a funny statement in the Gemara because it turns out we have 19, but they would come out 19, not 20. So Amalei. So the Gemara says to that, Achanami Sheikh Tikkun Tamni Leit Tikkun. We don't have to pass on like Rabbi Akiva here also because on Yom Tov we say 7 blessings and not 8 blessings. We don't go like Rabbi Akiva here either. Okay, we're left with that there's really no significance for him to say that the halacha is like Rabbi Elazar if no one argues that the halacha is like Rabbi Elazar. Then no one argues with that opinion. Not the Rabbanan. And Rabbi Akiva, we never pass him like anyone. In this case, Amalei, he says back, this is Reb Zera or Reb Chia Baravin, Lav halacha etmar alamatin etmar. It wasn't the halacha, it was, he didn't say that the halacha is like that. He said that Rabbi Yochanan is leaning towards that. Now, the difference here between if it's the halacha or if he's leaning is that you don't say it in public. Halacha would mean that you can teach that in the shir. That's the halacha. Not the Daf Yomi shir, you don't teach the halacha, Daf Yomi shir. But in halacha shir, you would teach the halacha. Matin means that if someone asks you privately, you can answer to them that this is the halacha, but you don't say that in public. Similar to halacha v'emayin kinai. Elamatin etmar. Yitmar, because it was stated, Rabbi Yitzchak bar Avdim Mishum Rabbeinu, Rabbi Yitzchak bar Avdim says the name of Rabbeinu, which is Rav. We had that before somewhere.
You just we all know it's
the Rabbi Yitzchak bar Avdim says the name of Rav, halacha, that it's a halacha. And some say that it's matin. Matin, it's leaning towards that, which means you don't say it in public. There's a problem with it if you say di itmar, because it doesn't really fit. That it was stated. We just said it's matin. So it comes along and says di itmar, as it was stated that it's a halacha. Something's funny there. So the Gra over here takes out the dalet and it says itmar. We have another statement. We're not. So, some say it's that he said it's halacha, and some say that he said matin. That means you don't pass them in public. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Maiden. Rabbi Yochanan says that sages agree to Rabbi Elazar. And which would mean that there's no machlokes. And Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amar Nirin. He says that it appears that the halacha is like that. Now Nirin is even less than matin. So we have three stages over here. We have halacha, and pronounce it in public. You have matin, which means you say it privately. And nirin would be that you don't even say it privately. But if someone already did it like that, then you tell them that it's okay, you don't have to go back and do everything over. Did he have it? So, and the Chia bar Abba says that it's nirin. What is the maiden? Maiden would be the extreme. There's no machlokes at all. Reb Zera says, "Nekaita Reb Chia bar Abba biyadcha." You should take what Reb Chia bar Abba says. The dayak v'gamer shmaitim mikum d'mara shaper, because he was very accurate in the words of his teacher, which is Rabbi Yochanan. I was going to say this later on. I'm going to actually compare others to him. Here we have, I guess, only Reb Chia bar Avin or Reb Zera, the one. No, it can't be Reb Zera. Kerachba de Pumpadisa, just like Rachba was careful in Pumpadisa with his teachings. Rachba, Rabbi Yehuda, Rachba says in the name of Rabbi Yehuda, there's a problem over here. Rashi discusses how does Rachba hear anything from Rabbi Yehuda. But he said, Harabayas Stav Kafalaya. The Harabayas Stav is like a covered bench, which is some sort of awning. There's a double awning surrounding the Harabayas. Now, the correct word for that would have been itztaba. But the problem is that his teacher called it a stav. So Rachba says it over as a stav because he was so accurate that he used the language that his teacher used. It was a one awning inside another awning. Okay. So what we come out from here is that Reb Chia bar Abba says nirin, which means only b'di'evet. If a person said Adchen Antano in Maidim, only b'di'evet would we say that you don't have to go back and say it over. Now, you don't have to say it over anyway, unless you did a malacha.
Here it seems that Reb Zera asked the question.
Now, you want to say that Reb Zera was the one that asked Reb Chia bar Avin.
Obviously, he was the one of the shmur.
See if that's. Reb Chia was the one that asked the question, and he's the one that's now going to say that you should accept.
Reb Zera asked the question.
Rabbi asked the question to
Yeah.
Rabbi Baraban, and he's the one that's now saying that the
good.
answer is going to be like Rabbi Baraba that says Niran. Niran means it's good after the fact. Okay. Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says, I know loy hayadana v'lay hayadana. I don't know this one and I don't know that one. The only thing I know is Elamidu Rav Shmuel. I only know what Rav and Shmuel say. Midu Rav Shmuel Yadana. I only know what they say. The Tekino Lan Marganisa beBavel. They instituted a pearl in Bavel. Rabbi Yosef is over here, and he's quoting from Rav and Shmuel. Commentaries say why this is taking place specifically here, why he's mentioning that it's a pearl in Bavel, is because in Bavel they have 2 days Yom Tov, and it's more common, double is common, for Yom Tov to fall out on a Mitzvah Shabbos and to have the Shaila, as opposed to Eretz Yisrael, where it's only possible half the amount of time. They only have 1 day Yom Tov in Eretz Yisrael.
Excuse me, what is Marganisa?
Marganisa means a pearl, like a gem. They instituted the following gem. And it goes like this: Hashem, our God, should make known make us know, let us know your righteous laws. This is the prayer of Bataydienu that we say on Yom Tov if it's after Shabbos. And teach us to fulfill your will. And you give us an inheritance, Manisasan, B'chagei Nedava, times of joy and holidays of donation. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Does it say in your commentaries? Shabbos, you bequeathed us. It's the bidding of God. It's funny. Maybe it means just the Chagiga. And you bequeathed us the holiness of Shabbos, covered Maya, the honor of the holidays, the Chagiga Seregal, and the festivities of the holidays. And Kedusha Shabbos, Kedusha Yom Tov Hivdalta means the extra day. Oh, that's a good shot. Chagei Nedava would mean the extra day. Is that what they said?
Yeah, so it's they're giving
That's a donation because it was added by the rabbis. Yes. And then Kedusha Shabbos and Kedusha Yom Tov Hivdalti, you separated between the holiness of Shabbos, the holiness of Yom Tov, and the 7th day you separated from the 6 days. Hivdalti v'kidashta samchisa b'kedusha secha. It feels like something's missing. You separated and sanctified from the holy people with your holiness, and then you go straight away about Titan Lano. So, perfect. We have the same thing with Chagei Nedava. We have an extra word over there. Mishpat and Misharim v'Seres Emes. Then it goes ben Kedusha Shabbos ukved Ma'id v'Chagigas Regal. But Havdal Hashem can Mekadosh L'chol. We don't even mention Mekadosh L'chol. Interesting. B'nor l'chayshach ben Yisrael am b'yem Yisrael sheis ma'aseh ben Kedushem v'Kedushem v'Dalta. The same Mashvi Mishishim Yemaiseh Kidashta that we got there. And then we have Yidalta v'Kedashta Sam Pisol b'Kedusha Secha. That's over there. So it's basically the same. A few pieces. Okay, that's what we're holding. A new Mishnah.
What was the thing about the double rows? Is that what connection to any of it?
That came in a very interesting way. It was just to say that Rachba was very accurate in recording his teacher's teaching.
Oh.
So therefore we should pass on like B'chia Barava was like Rachba. That's quotes the teaching. Okay, we're holding by a new Mishnah. It's a very famous Mishnah, and you find it intriguing. The Ramban al Torah discusses on this Mishnah all about reasons for. Are you allowed to give reasons for mitzvahs? There should be reasons why we do mitzvahs, and then can we do them because of those reasons? He discusses his opinion and the Rambam's opinion in the parsha of Shivot Haim. If someone says, "Al kantifra yigir rachamecha," that the one that had compassion on the mother bird that commanded us to send away the mother bird before we take the young should have compassion on us. Someone says that. He says that for the good things you did, we'll mention your name in praise. That's the way we praise Hashem. For the good things that you did, we'll mention your name in praise. Or he says, Maidim Maidim, means we acknowledge it. Thank you. We acknowledge. He says it twice. Mishat can I say? They silence him. The Gemara is going to explain what's going on. This is a problem. It's probably more of a problem in the community if he's davening from the Yomah, but an individual, according to Taishas up here on the top, is not such a problem. We'll see what's going on in the Gemara. Can I say? Why do we silence him if he says it sounds like he's talking to two gods. Says we acknowledge you, and we acknowledge you. So we silence him means probably we put someone else over there by the Yomah.
We say Amen, Amen.
Maybe because there's a above. That's your doubling on the one. Versus Amen, Amen.
You're actually supposed to add an above.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Have to think about it. When it says on the good things we praise you, it sounds like the good but not the bad. And we have a Mishnah coming up. A person's obligated to thank Hashem for the good, for the bad, just like for the good. That's the blessing of Baruch Dayanim. What's the reason why we can't say the one that had compassion on the mother bird should have compassion on us? It's between two Amirim b'Marav and Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Yisrael and Rabbi Yisrael Zavida to Rabbi Yosef. It sounds like Hashem has compassion on some, but he doesn't have compassion on others. And that's going to cause jealousy in creation. Only on the mother bird. And the other one says, Did I read Midaisa?
You said twice.
I read, it's supposed to say Midaisa. I might have read it wrong, but I read it with the translation. The translation is Mitzvaysa. That's how I understood from Rashi. And he makes the ways of Hashem, the commandments of Hashem, as compassion, and really they're decrees, which sounds very much like that the reason why we fulfill the mitzvahs, this one is for this reason. Why did Hashem give us this mitzvah? Oh, it's in order to teach us kindness. No, Hashem gave us a mitzvah because it's a decree. There's no reason at all for the mitzvah. That's what this other opinion says. Now there's a big discussion. It's a big discussion. Yeah, Sefer Achinaf. Yeah. If you want to look into this, that's Ramban al-Atayra. There's a lengthy Ramban. An easy way out of this discussion is just to say, you're making it look like that's the whole reason. That's an easy way out, and then I make everyone happy. In other words, there are reasons for the mitzvah, but to make it look like that's the only reason for the okay. The Rabbi. There was a person that went in front of Rabbi. V'amar is davening there. Nachas means he went down. I was on the airport I was in yesterday with Guardia. So I was with the yeshiva. So there's a big ramp. We go down to the gate. Huge ramp. So it was crowded. So we put our stuff down over there. And we were in Myriv. So we had the guy that got in Myriv went down, was Yered Lefnei started on the bottom, was mamish like in traditional times. We went on the bottom and everyone else was up. Okay, so who the Nachas, right? He went down, that means he went to the Yomad. V'amar, and he's saying, you that had compassion on the mother bird that told us to send away the mother bird before we take the eggs or the young, should have compassion on us. Oh, what a good chazan he is. How this one really knows how to appease Hashem. Abaya says, from a shot can I say Tanan? It says that you silence someone that talks like that. Mar says, Rabbi was just trying to sharpen Abaye. Wanted to see if he would catch on, see that he was, to test him, make sure he's thinking.
Oh,
Always testing you guys.
we have our tester.
Someone that went to the Amid in front of Rab Chanina. Rab Chanina must be Rab Chanina Bar Chama in Eretz Yisrael. Amar, he said, the God, the big, the strong, and the awesome, Va'adir, so powerful. Ozus is also mighty. Vayari is the one that everyone is in fear of. Achazak, the strong. Amet is another type of strong. Havadai, the definite one. Vanichbad, and the honorable one. Okay, Himton Lad to see him. He waits for him to finish. This is all what he's saying in the Shmones. He has all of this list. You see him when he finishes Amalei. Say him have you finished all the praises of your God? Sounds like sarcastic. Lamali Kuli Hai, why are you saying so much? Anan, even for us, Hani Tlasta Amrina, and we do say Hakel Agadol Hagiba Vanaira. Why do you say Hani Tlas? Hakel, Hagadol Hagiba Vanaira. Maybe not with Hakel. Hagadol Hagiba Vanaira. Hagadol Hagiba Vanaira, those adjectives that we use in describing God. He loved Amrina Moshe Rabbeinu Barais. If Moshe Rabbeinu himself didn't say it in the Torah, and the Anshik Nesach Daila instituted in the prayer, we wouldn't have been able to say descriptions, adjectives of God. And you say such a big amount, and you continue to go. He says, I'll give you an example of a human king. 1,000 thousand. What is that? 1,000,000? Is that 1,000?
Yeah.
1,000 thousands. Din reserve, golden coins. But and they praise him, the shel kesef, that he has silver coins. That's an embarrassment. You're not saying anything compared to what he really has. So therefore, when you try to say descriptions of God, that's infinite, and you try to say he's this, he's that, and the other, so none of them are going to come close to God. So really, it's going to be degrading, limiting. That's the word. Amar Rab Chanina. Rab Chanina also says, "Akol b'dei shemayim chutz mi'yer shemayim." Everything is in the hands of heaven except for fear of heaven. Fear of heaven is up to you. It's not God didn't make that choice. What we had recently, where there's a little responsibility there that God has. We have with Gemara. I know the Kutzka would say everything is in the hands of heaven except for fear of heaven, because fear of heaven you have to daven for.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so Shenemar, it says, "Vat Yisrael," and now Israel. What does Hashem ask from you? Only to fear Him. What you see when you say, "What does Hashem ask?" Just to, that's all He asks. Is that a small thing? Only thing that Hashem has in His treasury is Yerushalayim. It sounds like it's a great thing, and you're saying that this is just a small thing. So the Gemara answers, this is Moshe Rabbeinu that's talking, and it says in Lagabi Moshe Milsa Zuchasihi. Regarding Moshe, it's a small thing, and Moshe was saying, "What is Hashem asking you?" It's just this small thing, and for him it was a small thing. They ask him for a large vessel. So if he has it, he says, "Yeah, I have it. It's not a problem." Yeah. But katan v'yenlai, if they ask him for a small vessel but he doesn't have it, the daimalav k'kli gadol, it looks like a very big thing. This is like the example I had when I was on this Gemara. I needed a tissue. And I was thinking, like, if you have a tissue, then what's the big deal? But if you don't have a tissue and you need a tissue, it's like when you don't have it, all of a sudden it becomes like a big thing. So Moshe Rabbeinu, he had the Yerushalayim. So he tells others, it says, "What is it? What is Hashem asking?" It's nothing. And so for us, though, no, that's a big thing. We don't have it. And if anyone remembers Menachem Bais, Rabbi in Tanya, it makes a big deal about this. It says that. So what about how could Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't know that for us it's a big thing, and he says it's a small thing. It's like not in touch. Like is that what's going on? Rabbi over there explains that every Jew has a part of Moshe Rabbeinu in him, and regarding that part, So for every person, you have the Moshe Rabbeinu, the finished person. It's a small thing. Amar Abzeira, it's in Bais, in chapter 42. Amar Abzeira says, I'm sorry, I skipped the introduction. Moide Meshaktin, I say. Someone says, I acknowledge, he says twice, so they silence him. Abzeira says, if someone says twice, Shema, Shema, they would silence him also. It's like he said, Moide. Sounds like there's two entities. Similar to it. May asks a question. If someone recites the Shema and then says it again, raise a maguna, it's shameful. Now, maguna hu dahavish, it just means it's shameful, but it doesn't mean they silence him. Why over here does it say you silence him? It's really just something shameful. What's this like kasha? It's not a question. Hadamar milsa v'tanila, hadamar psuka v'tanila. Now, it doesn't tell us. We know that there's a difference here. What's happening? Rashi explains this, that if he says each word, maidim, so then that's maguna. But if he says the whole maidim, and then he recites it again, then they silence him. Or with Shema, I'm sorry. With Shema. If he says the whole Shema, and then they repeats it, so that's the problem. But if he just says Shema, Shema, so then that's just shameful.
When do you ever hear the Chazan say Shema? When do you ever say Shema?
Kedusha, right? Maybe in Kedusha. But that was instituted probably because we weren't allowed to recite the Shema. I think we say it together. Shema, we're supposed to pronounce out loud.
Oh, Shema Yisrael, Shema
Yisrael,
Yisrael. Or until after Yisrael.
Well, until Achad, that's what it sounds like.
Oh.
Tosfos over here says something interesting. He says that those people that they say after Yom Kippur, Shema Yisrael, 2 or 3 times, you have to silence them. Because the pasuk, saying the whole pasuk twice is the problem, according to Rashi. But there is another way of interpreting it, which is exactly the opposite. That saying the full pasuk is Meguna. Saying it Shema Shema, that's when you silence him. That's Rabbi Hananel's pshat. And then he says that maybe it's only when you're reciting the Shema and it's time and you're accepting all Malchus Shemayim. He says, nevertheless, it's better not to say it. But this that they say Hashem Elokim 7 times, that's not a problem. It's really 2.5 times because Eliyahu Hanavi said Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim. So we just quote Eliyahu Hanavi's. It was no on after Yom Kippur. After Yom Kippur.
Also, when the person dies, don't you say that if you're in the room?
Sorry?
The same stuff when the person dies?
Oh, it
If
could
you're
be.
in the room,
Could be.
I
Then it says, sorry.
no.
Then it says that we find it in the pasuk twice already. Okay. Amar Lei Rav Papa La Abaya. Rav Papa says to Abaya, Abaya is his teacher, don't let me car like Kivin Daite to say Kivin Daite. Maybe he just didn't have concentration well enough the first time, so that's why he's repeating it. Amar Lei, let me get to the Mishnah. Abaya says, Chavrusa Klapi Shmai Miika, does God have a partner in heaven? Eily Kivin Daite Miikara. If he didn't have a concentration the first time, Machinalei, we hit him. The Marzafta, some sort of hammer or a paddle, the nafcha that the blacksmiths use. Ad Mechav and Daite. Remember, probably from the bellows or something. Until the blacksmith, Ad Mechav and Daite, until he concentrates properly. Okay.
Rabbi, we don't really, just when we're saying Hashem's name in the pasuk, that should be repeated twice, or any pasuk should be repeated?
No, just when we're pronouncing the unity of Hashem.
Okay, so why is it we have this minhag that, like by Chazanim, they shouldn't repeat when they get carried away sometimes in other places and they repeat some twice. We don't hold that.
We don't have
I'm saying it's just minhag, but does it come from this?
I don't know if it's associated with
What,
this.
you should repeat two verses?
The davening is all written magic, so
Right, so just
all according to the Kabbalah, and all the yichud,
No.
all the words are all perfect.
Okay.
You can't add a word in davening, and it just throws it all off.
12 days.
Let's do the Mishnah. Mishnah says, "Ha'imar
13 days.
yivarchucha tovim." Someone says, "Good people should bless you." Raise the dakiminus. This is heretical because we have in our minyanim, we have everyone, not just good people. The tzibur is Rosh Tevis, tzadikim, beinim, and rishayim. Okay, it's unclear if that's really part of the Mishnah. It's unclear if it's part of this Mishnah. It's unclear if it's part of the last Mishnah, or if it's in general part of the Mishnah.
The last mission, we seem like we didn't resolve anything.
Okay.
It's like, what's the point there? It's
We
not halach.
had certain things that we weren't allowed to recite in davening. Don't say that the one that had compassion on the mother bird. Don't say that we praise you for the good that you've done. And also don't say maidim maidim. And then we added in or shema shema. That's what that was the last mission. I don't know.
Meaning it would repeat it
Right,
for the right pronunciation.
right. I don't know. Depends how you learn this chat and Rashi or Ben Efnano, if it's the whole pasuk or if it's the rest. Someone that's davening for them at Vitah, he makes a mistake. So you bring in another person.
What kind of mistake?
We'd never
He
get
skips. That's an easy mistake. Now don't be like, no, not me. How do you say a sarvan?
Excuse me.
Don't be like
too modest.
too modest. You pass it on to someone else. That's I'm not good enough. Don't be like that. At that time, if they need someone there to they're middle of the prayers. Where does he start? Okay, I don't have to watch. So tell me what time I am. Well, where does he start? The new person that comes in. From the place where the mistake was. Oh, beautiful. From when this person made the mistake. So you go back to that spot. If someone goes to daven for them, when the Kainim are saying Yivrachacha, because he'll get confused where he's up to. You can't respond also to the blessings that you're involved in. Especially those days, they didn't use a siddur. Now today the halacha is different because it's easy. You put your finger on the place, you know where you're at. The main shem kayin alahu, and if the chazan is also the kayin, la yises kappa. He shouldn't duchen because he won't be able to say sim shalom afterwards. He'll also be distracted. He'll lose his place.
In those days, the chazan did not.
I don't think so.
How can someone walk up in the middle of Shemon Esrei and then continue just mid Shemon Esrei?
Just take straight over.
From that point on.
Yeah, you're talking about when you made the mistake.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, but I mean, the new cousin is coming in, he's continuing.
The only time that we would probably see this is if someone like loses his voice or something and he just can't speak or he starts coughing and they would put someone else here. So where would you put him in? It's continue from where the person left off or whatever the mistake or whatever. That's what we're saying.
What if he left out Ya'aleh V'Yavo
No.
and went on?
Shoot him. Just shoot him.
That makes
a
sense,
discussion
because
back
the
to
Chazar is for the benefit of the understanding there. It's confusing.
Right.
They didn't have any.
If he'll be able, if he's guaranteed, he's confident that he'll be able to go back to say his prayer, then he's allowed to do that. He's allowed to to duchen and be the chasam. Tana Rabba, the Gemara says, Tana Rabba was taught in the Bais. You have to refuse. That's the Gabbai has to learn this, to know what's how to ask people. Because the people, when they ask you to go to the Amud, you're supposed to say no. If you mean a Masarev, you don't refuse. It's like a stew that doesn't have salt. Masarev yesimidai, but if you refuse too much, then it's like it was oversalted if you refuse too much. What's happening is that it's talking about like gaiva. To say, oh yes, I want to go, I'm going to go. So that's about gaiva. But if you say, I'm not going, and you're adamant, stubborn about it, that's also gaiva. So somewhere in the middle of it.
How could be a gaba if you don't want to go?
How could you?
How could be a gaba if you don't want to go?
Oh, that you're so stubborn. The community is asking, and you keep saying no. Like I'm not going. I'm not going to go. Okay, Kate said, so what should you do? You refuse the first time. Second time, you make it look like, I don't know. Are you sure you really? And then you spread your feet. That means you begin walking to the Amud. At the third time they ask you, so you say no, and then they say, well, but there's no one. You say, you sure? And then you say, yeah, I'm sure. Then you go to them. There's three things. Shleisha Ruben Kasha. The rabbis taught three things. Too much is not good. Mutam yafa, but a little bit is good. Ve'elohein. And this is they. Sa'ar, yeast. The sourdough, the starter. Too much. It's going to make everything too sour to eat. Melach and salt will be too salty. The savanus and also refusing to stubbornness too much is not a good thing. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna says in the first three blessings, which is Magen Avraham, Makayim Mesim, and Akal HaKadosh, any mistake in there, you have to go back to the very beginning. That's considered like one unit. The middle ones, the middle 11 blessings are also one unit. And if you make a mistake anywhere in there, you go back to the beginning of it, which is Atachainen. The last ones, you go back to Ritzei. That's also one unit. So the Shemona Esrei is divided into three units. And if mistaken any one, you go back to the beginning. That's the opinion of Rav Huna. Ravasi says that the middle ones have no order. It means you can just insert them whenever you want. Which sounds like what he's saying is that it's not considered one unit. Sounds like what he's saying is that if you make a mistake and someone else is taking over, or you have to go back to you go back to wherever the mistake was, you don't have to go back to Atachayim. That's what it sounds like. Master Rav Sheshus, Rav Sheshus asks, from where does he go back to? From the beginning of the bracha that the person made a mistake, to Yufta de Rav Huna, to Kasha and Rav Huna. Rav Huna says you have to go back to Atachayim. And according to our Mishnah, that says if you make a mistake, you start from wherever the bracha that the mistake was. That could be Baruch Aleinu, that could be wherever it is. It's not Atachayim. The Gemara says, Amalach Rav Huna, Rav Huna would say to that what it means is you go back to the bracha, which is the middle unit, which is the beginning of those 11 brachas. Amar Rav Yehuda, Rav Yehuda says, Rav Yehuda, student of Rab, he says a person should only ask for his needs in the middle unit, those 11 brachas, not at the beginning and not at the end. Dam Rab Chanina, because Rab Chanina taught, the beginning blessings, the first three blessings of Shemona Esrei are someone is compared to a servant that's organizing his praise before his master. The middle ones is comparable to a servant that's asking for a portion from his master. And
Isn't that a reward?
Portion.
Or don't say
English word. Yeah, but it means to receive a portion, which that means a reward. You hear the English word in the class. And then he goes. There's a story with the student. Rabbi Eliezer. In front of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer said, for the portion? For the, thank you. The Rabbi, he's davening in front of Rabbi Eliezer. It's taking a very long time, stretching it out. Amalei Talmida, Rabbeinu Kama Arkanusa, says, our teacher, this fellow that's davening, look how lengthy he is. Amalehem, Klamarach Yisum Moshe Rabbeinu, is he longer than Moshe? The Ksiv Bei Asarbarim Ayayim Asarbarim Alayla, was it 40 days and 40 nights that he's davening? It's only a few hours. Yeah. Shuv, Ma'aseh v'Talmud Echad She'er Lefnei Ativ, Lefnei Rabbi Eliezer. Mikatzi Yisum Medai, he was very, very quick. That's what it says. He was very quick. Amalei Talmida.
Second time down 40 days.
Yeah. The students said, Kamakatsunu said, this guy is so quick, so short. Amalei Kamakatsi Yisum Moshe Rabbeinu, is he shorter than quicker than Moshe Rabbeinu's prayer? The Ksiv Kelner Rafanallah, that's only 5 words. 2, 3, 4, 5. Amar Rabbi Yaakov, Amar Rav Chisda, Kol Mavakish Rachem Al Chavir, and Tzarech Lahazke Shmai. Yaakov says in the name of Rav Chisda, it's the father. He says in the name of Rav Chisda that anyone that asks for compassion for his friend, you don't have to say his name. Shnemer Kelner Rafanallah. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't say Miriam's name when he said, God have heal her. Miriam, and he doesn't mention Miriam's name. So you see, you don't have to say the name. Why do we say the name? We hold that if it's not in front of the person, we said that Moshe was in front of Miriam. And you can just say the pronoun, her. So that was good enough. She had Tzarach. And Moshe davened for her. But maybe Moshe was outside. Maybe she just got it right then.
Rabbi,
put his name in the
did we say he said that he davened the longest because of the 40 days? 40
Yeah.
I thought it was because of hygiene. The longest bracha.
Yeah.
Did I learn that somewhere else?
Everybody look at that shirt.
So, I don't know. This is a lot. This is 40 days is longer than Hazina.
No, but Hazina is the longest bracha. It's only the Chumash.
Tanarabanan. Eily Brachos Daf. These are the blessings that a person bows. The beginning and end of the first blessing of Avos. That's Magen Avram. The beginning and end of Maidim. And Tev Shemcha. We tell him not to bow if he tries to do it on everyone. There's an institution that was made for the prayer. Don't do it different. We just said it was for a regular person. What about these special people? Kohen Gadol b'seif kol bracha bracha. The Kohen Gadol, he does it at the end of each bracha, every bracha, not just the first bracha. V'hamelach tchila kol bracha u'bracha b'seif kol bracha bracha. The Melech does it, all of them, the beginning and the end. He bows. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Nachmani. Rabbi Yitzchak bar Nachmani says. The Kohen Gadol does at the beginning of every bracha. But the king bows once and he doesn't get up at all, not just the beginning and end. He doesn't get Shenemar. We find by Shlomo Melech and Kamal Lefnei Hashem Mikray Al Birkov. He gets up from bowing on his knees after the prayer. That means the entire prayer that he said was bowing. If you look at that prayer, which we mentioned before, Menachem Part Ches, the Malbim learns over there in each section, he learns which bracha corresponds to Shemona Esrei, which is very unique because we didn't do that ever in the Gemara. To say that the Shemona Esrei corresponds to Shlomo Melech's Tefillah. We didn't do that. We said it corresponds to Havel Hashem and Eily, etc.
Yeah, in Megillah.
Right.
No?
In Masechta Megillah?
Yeah,
the Gemara Megillah does that.
Does that, yeah.
But we had it here as well. Okay. So let me finish to the Mishnah. Should I finish the Mishnah? The term kida, which is a type of bow, that means to bow on the face. Remember, Vatika Basheva Payamarta, Basheva bowed on her face to the ground. Kriya, Kairim, Anachnu Kairim, that's Al Berkaim, that's on the niche. Remember, Mikray Al Birkov, that was Shlomo Melech. Hishtachava, This is also bowing. Zupishat yadayim regam. That's spreading hands and knees, hands and feet out. Shnemar, havayna vayaniva imcha va'achecha l'shtachves l'cha'arza. Will I and your mother come to bow to Yosef? That's Yaakov. Yaakov saying to bow on the ground. He says that means it's on the ground. Amar Chia Breder Abuna Chazinu Abaya Rava the Matzli Atzluye. Abaya and Rava would go on the side. This is like Tachla, and they would lean to the side. And Tanichada Kareya Bahida Reisa Meshubach. One says that if you bow by Hida by Shmonesrei, Kriya means on his knees, then it's praiseworthy. But Tanida Chareza Maguna says that it's shameful. Like Kasha, Betchila Halabasai, depends at the beginning or the end. Rava Kara Bahida Tchila Basai. Rava bows at the beginning and the end. Amile Rabbanan. The Rabbanan say, Amai Kavid Marhachi, why are you doing this? Amalei Chazin lo Rab Nachman the Kara. I saw Rab Nachman do it. Chazin lo Rab Sheshes the Kara. I saw Rab Sheshes do it. The Kavid Hachi, that he did this. Vahatanya Kareya Bahida Reizim Meduna. But we have a brisa that says no. It says Ahi Bahida Sheba Halal. That's when we say in Halal, we say Haidul Hashem Kitat Kilam Chasta. That's when you're not supposed to bow. Vahatanya Kareya Bahida Ubahida Shel Halal Reizim Meduna. We have it that and Haida Shel and Haida. So that means the Haida, original Haida was not halal. The Kitanya idea by the Brachos Samazon, that was talking about Naidalacha in benching that, but there you don't tell. Okay, let's see. Thank you.
It's not. We would like to wait.
Thank you very much.